Aloha, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Mel. Hey, everybody, go grab your coffee. Take a nice sip. Oh, gosh. Today, we're having our Kauai Coffee medium roast. You guys can, of course, you can pick this up in the store or you can go to kauaicoffee.com. And nope, they're not sponsoring this. I'm just sharing my coffee with y'all because, as you know, I am a coffee addict. I am. Good morning, Uncle Marshall. What's up? What's up? I'm not sure what's going on the Wailua Bridge. Apparently, there was a bad accident this morning. My wife just came home, turned around. Traffic was backed up in the house lots all the way up, so she couldn't even get to the highway. So prayers to those involved. Hopefully, everybody is okay, and it's just a fender bender and a horrific time of the day. But yeah, prayers go out to all of those involved. It's unfortunate. Gotta be careful when we drive, folks. Everybody in a hurry to get back work after the 3-day weekend. If you work for the government, we're just recovering from that storm. We managed to get through it okay. A little wet. Had some strong winds a couple of days ago, but no damage. And I know the Kauai did see some serious damages and some inconveniences, of course, but the rest of the state as well. I was watching the news. Maui and the Big Island and even Oahu got hammered pretty bad. So unfortunately, that's what happens when you live on a tropical island. We get hit with these tropical storms, but hopefully everybody made it out all right. Anyway, again, guys, this is Coffee with Mel, and the way we do it is you can call in. You can call in to on the number on the screen, or you can just post your question in the comment box, and we'll get to all your questions. It would help me if you put a Q and a colon before your. If it's a question, put a Q and a colon before, so I can. It's easier for me to track on the feed. I don't have my moderator yet. We're running into some technical issues, so it's me all alone, and it's hard to watching all of the comments scroll by. And good morning, Mr. Cox. Hope you are doing well. Yes, the coffee. Okay, that is a clue, a hint. Ah, I love my coffee, guys. Coffee, breakfast of champions. Anyway, I hope you guys doing all right. Sorry, I got this little frog in my throat this morning. Good morning, Marie. Thank you for joining us this morning. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you guys having a great week so far. I know, again, unfortunately, for those of you heading to Lihui from Kapa'a or north, there is a bad accident on Wailua. I mean, on the bridge or near the bridge, so traffic is backed up. Jose Felix, aloha. Now let me mute while I clear my throat. Oh, I love technology. Jose Felix. Yes, we are going to be doing a Let's Taco About It out there in on the west side, and it will feature Jose's amazing tacos. He makes the best tacos. Oh God, I cannot wait. We're gonna secure a date and let everybody know about it. That'll be fun, and it'll give you an opportunity to talk story with me and pick my brain. Pick my brain. Good morning, Tammy Q Silva. Thank you for joining us this morning. I don't know how many of you are stuck in traffic. If you are, drop a little comment. Curious to find out what's going on and if it's moving. It is horrible. It is horrible. Anyway, Coffee with Mel. It's an opportunity for you to get to meet me and get to hear me and figure out what I'm about, because I know a lot of people have heard of me, or but this gives you an opportunity to talk one-on-one. Yes, it's virtually, but it is live. It is live. Yes, sir. Carne asada tacos. Carne asado tacos. I cannot wait, Jose. I simply cannot wait. But yeah, so this is just an opportunity, guys. Take advantage. Please, please, please put your questions. If you have a question, again, I'll put this up real quick. If you have a question, put a Q and a colon in front of it, like you see in the example. That way it's easier for me to track with my system. All right. For those of you that have not Hello, hang on. I gotta post up these comments, especially the good ones. Good morning, soon to be Mayor Uncle Mel. Thank you, Noah. Yeah, we're feeling really positive. We're feeling really positive. Getting some really good feedback. Getting to meet a lot of people that I have not met. And yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. 1 hour already. Oh gosh, Tammy, so sorry about that. So sorry about that. Oh, gone it. Let's see what else we got here. Traffic is shut down 3 ways. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Okay. Anyway, be patient, y'all. Be patient. That's one of the reasons we'll talk about in a little bit. One of my priorities is getting those access roads open for times like this. We do have a uh, a road that's just Malka of the highway that should be open, and that's one of the priorities on my list. I think if you watch the forum that we had on January 26th, that was one of my top 3 things that I would start working on or try to accomplish in the first 100 days of office, and that is opening these emergency access routes for times like this. So anyway, good morning again. If you haven't, let's see if this thing works here. Yes, Kaimana, good morning, Mel. Have a blessed day. Yes, all of you have a blessed day. Um, I'm right here with you. Yeah, 1 hour praying. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, guys, be patient and let's all say a prayer for those that are involved. Hopefully, it's not no one got hurt, and I hope everybody does okay. For those of you that haven't checked out our website, guys, go check it out, melformayor.org. You can find everything there, almost everything. These lives are much better because you get to ask me the questions directly. But on our page, you can volunteer in any way. You can, signs, banners, hosting coffee hours, whatever. You can also donate, and importantly, you can register to vote. So that is critical. If you know of anyone that is not registered, please get them registered. You can do it from our website, or if you need paper forms, because I know a lot of people are a little hesitant for to do anything online. Let me know. We can make sure we get some applications over to you. And speaking of the election, these are the dates. Of course, primary election on August 8th, and the general is on November 3rd. But the deadlines to register for the primary is July 29th. 2026, and the general is October 26th. And you should be, if you registered to vote, you should be getting your ballots for the primary election about July 21st. And for the general, it is October 16th. October 16th. If you haven't, if you get to about the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and you have not received the ballots, give me a call or call the elections office, and something's up. The registration, sometimes you move or you change your address and you didn't update your registration files, or sometimes it just falls through the cracks. So you gotta let them know if you have not received, and we'll post those dates up again later on. Anyone stuck in traffic, please keep us posted as to when it starts moving. As to those involved, I pray. Yes, Michael Cox, absolutely. It's at the intersection. I'm assuming that's the intersection of the homesteads. I'm not sure. Tell people they cannot go up and around per Kong radio. And Kong says it's going to be a while, which is not good news, if that's what they're saying. If that's what they're saying. Good morning, Sharon, Cody, Woodward, Graham. Graham. How do you say? Is it Graham or Graham? I hear it both ways. So anyway, I did get a text about how do you post your questions. You can just post it in the comments, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, which is we're live on all 3 platforms. I used to be live on Twitter too, but they started charging, so I said nope, I'll keep my money. But yeah, just post your question in the comments. Again, put a Q and a colon in front of it, because like right now the comments are flooded, I can search for the Q colon, and then only the questions will pop up. So that'll help me out a lot until I get my moderator in place. Please. put a Q and a colon in front of it. Then I can find it a lot easier. Good morning, Wesley Chow, my good friend. Very good friend, and appreciate all your support. Wesley's guys been working hard in the campaign, and for all of you that have been out there spreading the word, we really appreciate it. Like I said earlier, we're getting a lot of positive feedback. We're doing quite a few meet and greets, which are my favorite events. You know, in the old days, we used to just book a neighborhood center, run some ads, Mel will be here, and the turnout was very bad because a lot of people um, not either they don't read the paper or they're not listening to the radio or they're just not going to waste their time. So what we do now is we have people host these meet and greets, and it can be anywhere. It can be anywhere, and the turnouts have been incredible, and the response has been just fabulous. Good morning, Mel. Have an awesome day. Keola Kaimi Na'ao, also a candidate for county council. Keola Kaimi Na'ao. Good luck, my brother. Good luck, my brother. Yes, prayers to all involved in the traffic accident, Wes. Yeah, it doesn't sound good. If Kong Radio said that um, it's going to be a while, then that means it's not a good. There's never a good accident, but if it's going to be allowed, I mean, if it's going to be a while, then it's indicative that it's a serious accident. So prayers to everybody involved. Yeah. So as I was saying, we have been doing the meet and greets. If any of you would want to host one, please let me know. You can just shoot us an email at mail4kauai@gmail.com, or you can go to our website at mail4mayor.org and click the volunteer button, and all the different options of ways you can support the campaign will pop up. Yeah, well, here's our first question. Randy Francisco, what are your thoughts about returning Sunday bus service due to shortage of drivers? The only solution is getting more drivers. And, one of the things is, offering incentive pay increases to get these drivers. I don't understand why there is a shortage because, I think, I think the drivers are available whether or not they want to drive county buses. It's not an easy job, let me tell you. Those buses are not a tour bus where you have a bunch of tourists that's so excited to be here. I've heard some real horror stories. In fact, I was doing this was a few years ago. I was doing a pedestrian count for our transportation department. It asked us to assist. So I was sitting at the bus stop right there by across the county building, across the state building, which is now the hub, and I was counting pedestrians walking on the road and watching the people come in and out of the bus. And there was this guy that was trying to get on a bus with a machete, and bus driver handled it extremely well. And I got a chance to talk to that bus driver, and he was telling me how difficult some of these guys are. And so, yeah, I understand it's a tough job. I am very disappointed that we cannot get the Sunday service going again. But it really just really comes down to personnel, and we gotta figure out a way how we can get more. Randy, I wish I could answer that question, man. We just gotta get more drivers, and the way you get more drivers, you gotta pay them, and that's kind of what the dilemma that we're in. We're going to start our budget process, the budget review process next week, so we'll get more answers from the administration as it relates to the transportation and the bus service. Good morning, Mr. Murata. How are you, my friend? How are you? Good to see you here. Troy, why Ale, one of our ambassadors of Aloha. Thank you for joining us this morning. Michael Lyons, yeah, I want to make it happen, bro. We got to make it. There's a lot of things we got to do, and I'll talk about one thing real quick in a bit, but I want to get to all these questions. Michael's asking, after the repairs to the Wailu Bridge, is there any plans to widen the road from Wailu Bridge to Hanamalo intersection? Seems like a lot of money used to keep contraflow operational. Yes, I have been, I guess, sporadically, not consistently. Ed Sniffen from the State Department of Transportation is a good friend of mine. He's the director of the Transportation Department, and they do have plans. When that gets executed is beyond me. I mean, again, Contra, when the last time I checked, which was years ago, it was about $1 million a year. I think it's probably a lot more now. But opening that bypass road or that cane road that is there, if we open that road, you could do away with the Contra So, and I had shared that with both the governor and Mr. Sniffen. Uh, but yeah, there are plans. There's actually plans for a Mauka bypass. But again, when do you think that will happen? The county obviously can't afford to do that. The state, they have the plans. They have, I think, 3 different, maybe even 4 different routes that build new bridges across the river. But I just being honest, guys, it's going to be a while. So until then, we as a county needs to take the actions necessary to open up some of these the old cane roads that I believe we should be using. Sorry, I got something in my eye now. My God, I got frog in my throat, something in my eye. I hope it's not the sign of how this week will be. Coffee. Oh gosh. Best medicine, man. Best medicine. Yeah, Michael, I wish I could have had a better answer, but like I always say, the voice of the mayor is much louder than the voice of the council chair. So I'm hoping that, should I get elected, we'll be able to push a lot of these initiatives and get more traction with the state because we need to. I cannot believe how we have ignored the problem all these decades, really. And now we're in a situation where we have truly, for many years, we have truly outgrown the infrastructure. And that is something that needs to be addressed. Okay, we got another one here. Wanted to ask this last week, but missed the live. With your stance on the CIP for wastewater, how do you plan to allocate funds for many of the projects that has been talked about for years now? So I'm not sure if you're talking about the existing CIP projects that are on the books. Obviously, we are going to completely reassess the CIP budgets. And, again, when we go through budget, we get presented the CIP projects as well. And it's very difficult for the county or any county council to cut a CIP project at the council level when the administration is telling you that they are working on it and they need the funds. I believe that some of those projects can wait. I believe that some of those projects are not essential, and that is, I believe, where we will be able to take a look at all of these projects, prioritize it by need, and that'll free up some capital or some cash to be allocated towards wastewater and solid waste. So again, it's when we talk about systemic change, that's what I will bring. Now that brings some fear in some people's minds, and I gotta assure people that should I get elected, we are only going to do what is best for the people. And right now, and again, we'll talk about what happened at last week's council meeting. I think some of you may have read about it, but regarding wastewater is we need to fix the essential systems on this island before we put money into the amenities, what I call the amenities. So, how do you plan to allocate funds for many of the projects that has been taught? Oh, yeah, I plan to, if it's not essential, it's going to get cut. It's going to get cut, and those funds will be reallocated back to the projects that need to be done ASAP. I hope that answered your question. Thanks for the explanation. Yes, opening old cane haul roads would help. I just wondering the long-term view. Well, the long-term view is the Mauka bypass, which the state has been working on for decades. Again, we as a county, more specifically the mayor, is really got to push that case forward to the state, to the legislature, and even to the federal government. I can tell you how many times I've been in D.C. lobbying for funds for at least starting the planning or assisting the state with the planning for the Mauka bypass. That it has to happen. And I'm honest, and I'm truthful, and sometimes to a fault, because some people don't want to see a Mauka bypass, and more lanes will bring more cars. Well, no, the cars are already here, folks, and we need to accommodate our residents, and we need to make sure that they can get to work and get to the hospital and get to the airport to get to the hospital or to a doctor's appointment. And that is how we really got to make a very, very strong case for that Mauka bypass. I mean, really, I love football. I love football stadiums, but I think right now, when you look at the state needs, it's not just Kauai, but I'm only talking about Kauai. Is we definitely need to get our traffic moving. And this morning is a great example right now, happening as we speak. One accident is going to disrupt the lives of thousands of people. And how many of those people are? And again, I'm not saying this to minimize the impacts of those involved in the accident. Gosh, it's not good, but we shouldn't. We should not be allowing this to happen. So yeah, easier said than done. But again, I just want to let you know that is a priority of mine, and we will do our best to make sure that gets accomplished. No, a boat existing and proposed new. Yeah, again, right now, as I stated in the forum, wastewater and solid waste are critical infrastructural needs of this county. In fact, crisis levels, and that is the truth. And the reason it's at crisis levels is because prior administrations have not paid any attention to it. And again, last week's council meeting, it was made very clear by our wastewater division chief, Dano Fujimoto. I asked him because the plan for Wailua, the repair plan or whatever, started back in 2009, and I asked him what did we do since 2009? What did we do? Why haven't we done what needed to be done since 2009 so we wouldn't be in this situation today, which is asking for 25.5 million for emergency repairs, an additional 50 million to bring us up to the capacity that station's supposed to be working, but it's not because of a faulty facility. The EPA has clipped our capacity from 1.5 million gallons a day to 1. So he wants 25.5 million now to just fix things up, and then another 50 million to bring it back up to the 1.5 million gallons a day. Horrible. That is silly when we know that's in a tsunami inundation zone that needs to be moved. So that's where I am having some difficult problems. So again, as we reassess the budget, as we reassess CIP projects, should I be elected, we are going to be focusing on critical infrastructure and roads projects that need to be done. Right on, Noah. Our family stuck in traffic today. Road closed, so a bypass. Yes, Sandy, that is so true. That is so true. Kudumura regime secured funding for Malco bypass, but the Kapaa business was against it. Yeah, I've heard so many versions of that story. I've heard that the state, there's some hoo-hoo in the legislature. This is, you talking 30, 40 years ago, where they had already started to cut a mountain on the North Shore. They were supposed to bring this road right around the island. Honestly, Eric, I'm not sure what the real true story is. All I know is that we have a tendency, we meaning government. I'm not just saying Kauai, although this is directly a result of Kauai's priorities. We consistently, we as government consistently kick the can down the road, and it's unfortunate because again, when they ask me what separates me from the rest, I think my ability to see long-term vision, 30, 40 years down the road, so we don't have these issues with wastewater and solid waste. If everyone had done their job, and when I say everyone, I mean the administrations did their job in preparing plans that were long range, long term, long vision, we wouldn't be here today. That's a simple fact. So to be able to now wastewater, I mean we're so far in the puka, it's going to take money to get us out. Unnecessary, because we could have had worked on this throughout the last 20 years, and we did not do it. It was just all about the other stuff we had to do, all of the other things that we wanted to do, and we neglected to keep our infrastructure on the forefront. And Eric, that you are so true. Why do we call the cleanup beaches? Who do we call to clean up beaches on Papalo Road? Debris from bridge washing up. Again, if it's above the high water mark, it's county. If it's below the high water mark, it's the state. But I will, hang on, let me write this down. I'll make sure we get that sent out to whoever's involved or responsible. Yeah, I will follow up. Typically, it would be the state because it's below the high water mark, but I will pass that on. Okay, hang on. Now I gotta check my text messages here. Hold on, because we got a whole bunch of things running. Let's see. Oh. Okay, it looks like we're all caught up. That's cool. That's cool. Let me check one more thing here. Sorry, guys, this is live and in color. Thought I saw. Here we go. All right. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So that is the dilemma we are in right now. That is that right now it's these critical infrastructure needs that we got to address. And again, I'm assuming that starting next week when we do our budget review process, there's going to be a lot of discussion on that. Wes, can you elaborate on what you plan to do in the first 90 days in office? The last question, the last time this was asked was at the forum was first 100 days. So you give me the 90 days. I can tell you that the first thing I'm going to do is to sign an emergency proclamation on wastewater. That is, we're in dire need of moving that project forward, and I think the emergency declaration will allow us to move at a lot quicker speed. The second one is the emergency declaration for solid waste. You guys all know our landfill is reaching capacity, and we don't. I mean, while there's talk about a new landfill, that's not going to be done in this current administration's term. So the next mayor is going to inherit again a problem that has been with us for 20 years, multiple administrations. And again, I think the failure to provide a long-term plan for our infrastructure for solid waste, I think is the reason why we are here today. So that the priorities got to be established. The emergency declaration just pushes these projects, these issues up to the top of the list. And ironically, the other one would be the third thing would be to try to finalize the discussions, which have already started with DHHL and the state, as well as Grove Farm, to get some of these cane roads open, get rights of ways to some of these cane roads, so that in times like right now, where the Wailua Bridge has shut down, that we can get people moving. And so that's there's a long list, but those are the top three that I believe we really got to work on. As someone who's worked for wastewater prior and actively pump cesspools, septics now, I constantly have to have one-on-one conversations with homeowners on why they still don't have city sewer. After decades of talks, even in Lihui, a big portion is still not connected to the sewer. We have two of the biggest plants on the island located in the immediate area. Yes, Noah, you are correct. And one of the things I talked about at the forum was even from back with pretty much ever since I've been in office. And again, I got in office when Mayor Baptiste got into office. So, for over 20 years with different administrations, I have been asking for a sewer plan, a true workable sewer plan. How are we going to sewerize this island? Right now, we still have a little bit of capacity in Lihui, Wailua on the west side. Why is there no plan to start to sewerize our communities? So yes, it is frustrating. No, I share your pain, and that is one of the reasons I've made the decision to run. And I think you might have heard this, especially if you watched last week's Coffee Hour or Coffee with Mel. I still got 2 more terms on a county council. I'm almost positive I got reelected, probably remain as the chair. But these actions cannot be done by the council, and I know a lot of people think it can. But it is administrative, it is executive level decisions that's got to be made. And I seriously told my wife, I don't want to be on a council anymore with an administration that's not going to get things done. I just not. I'm done. I can serve my community in other ways. I don't have to be on the county council. I want to be the mayor because these decisions have to be made. Plain and simple. Bold leadership, strong decision-making skills, and some of these decisions are going to create some stirs in the public. I understand that. But that's why we need strong leaders, because things need to get done. And if you continuously talk about, well, the community didn't want it there. Well, I apologize, but in some of these things, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. And, there are different incentive programs for these neighborhoods that ultimately will, be selected to host some of these. But the bottom line is, some while we live in a democratic society, and everybody has a say, when you're talking about county government and infrastructural needs, critical infrastructure needs, the county's got to make the tough call. And that is where I think I rise above my opponents, clearly. And I think I've shown that in my career on the council. Um, Good morning. You know anything about the county buying the lot by Kapahi Park? What you guys planning on doing? Parking for tourists for the falls? No parking for that. We are actually working with our attorneys right now to deal with the illegal parking. It's not illegal right now. That's the problem. We got to create a system where that parking is reserved for the local residents and the park users, and not the falls, not the visitors. But as far as the purchase, yeah, we did finalize the purchase. We approved it last week at the council meeting. The funds were approved, so that lot adjacent to Kapahi Park is now the county's, and that will be the soccer field, the new soccer field, or soccer field for the Kapahi Park, and then the other side will remain with baseball. So it's just going to create more space for for the people of Kauai, not just Kapahi. Wes, I was just kidding, man. No be. I know, man. Yeah, Wes Chow worked KIUC. He worked his butt off during the storm. Thank you, and all of your friends and your colleagues and co-workers out there at KIUC for amazing work during all of our storms. So, man, I was just playing with you, bro. 90 days is good. 90 days is good. I think we all gotta think like that. What are you gonna do in the first 90 days or 100 days? That you should be asking all the candidates. For mayor, what are you going to do? Not what is your leadership style? What tangible things are you going to do in the first 100 days? There's a lot to do. Trust me. Don't get me wrong. And because I mentioned those three, it's not limited to those three, but those are the three that I think that we need to do immediately. My good friend Ed, the refuse, aka dump workers, see more folks than most county departments. They do a great boots on the ground job. Appreciate Kapa. Thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. McDowell. And I just went to the blessing of the new renovated Kapa transfer station. It is incredible. If you haven't gone down there, go check it out. It really is nice. It's state of the art, and it's got so many improvements. I mean, wow. I will say they did a heck of a job. Heck of a job. So kudos out to the refuse workers. And I know I've gotten some emails about some of the trash pickups were delayed, and that is also something that we got to address because that's not acceptable. And there's a lot of reasons why that's happening: equipment breakdowns, personnel shortages, and that is just something that we got to work on with our workforce. Improving the morale of our workforce is going to take us far. And if you know Mel Raposo, you know I'm a very motivated guy and a very coach-like person, that I want people on the team. I want people that share in the vision, help create the vision, and just create an environment that people want to come to work, because that's bottom line. That's the issue. People not coming to work, and we don't have the staff to go do the thing. So we got to fix that. And I definitely have a plan. Samuel, support gap housing for residents. Support the new Koloa housing project by Mike Serpa. Keep the locals on the island so we are not priced out. Yes, sir. Gap is the new need. We spent a lot of many years focusing on affordable housing, and I will say that this administration, this housing director Adam Reversi, has done an amazing job with inventory for the homeless. For the low income. And the homeless. We got some transitional units up as well, working on more. But the need right now is gap. The gap, or workforce housing. Those that are working, the police, the nurses, teachers, firefighters. They just do not have enough inventory for that gap group. So last year, or last term, Councilmember Billy DeCosta, during the budget, introduced a tax increase for hotel and resort. That didn't go over well with the hotel and resort and the TVR community. We got a lot of backlash. But that funds that was generated, and I think it's $13 or $15 million that was generated last year, is in a line item specifically for the development of workforce housing. So yes, it might have costed Billy the election, but that was, again, bold leadership. Sometimes you got to do things that you may hurt politically, but it has to be done. And once we had talked with the hotel and resort community and the HLTA, Hawaii Lodging and Tourism Association, and packaged it in a way where that's their contribution for the housing shortage by charging their visitors an extra amount of tax. I mean, an extra little bit of money that goes into a pot to build housing for workforce housing, which includes the employees of hotels and resorts. So that is their contribution, and I think we got some support from that industry. But yes, I agree, Samuel. We gotta refocus on the gap group, because that's the group that's leaving. That's the group that's picking up their families and moving. And I can tell you, my two kids live in the mainland, so it is personal to me. Sherry Lopez Mayer. Thank you, Sherry. Oh my God, I have not seen Sherry for decades. Awesome, awesome. That's why it's your turn and your time. Thank you for all you do for the people of Kauai and for being a strong voice. Oh, you're welcome, Wesley. Thank you. Thank you. We have to bring morale back to the county team for sure. They always say it's not my job. If work is contracted out, they can't say that. Unions do not help with the morale. And if they are, okay. I'll just say this. As a coach, the job of a coach is to convey a vision or create a vision that the players of that team will buy into and will work hard for that vision. And I think that's what I bring, and that's what I will try. I mean, listen, and I know people say the union. The unions have a collective bargaining agreement. Their union contract. That's what they have. That is agreed upon by all parties, and that's what it is. The county has to comply with the collective bargaining agreements. I support labor, don't get me wrong. It's the county that has to understand how the collective bargaining agreements work. And in my experience on this county council, based on all of the claims that have been filed or issues that we had to resolve at the council level regarding personnel, more times than not, it's because we did not follow the collective bargaining agreement. That is critical. So, my administration would be well trained and well versed in all of the labor agreements with all the unions. And we are going to follow the collective bargaining agreements. We are going to be fair and consistent. So that in and of itself will increase morale, I think, for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I hear it all from employees of different departments of why they're not happy. So I do have the roadmap. I have the checklist of where we got to do better. We as managers and supervisors got to do better. And I'll just say it, if supervisors are not able to supervise, then they will not be supervising. We will find the right people to do the job. That is it's how we build football teams. That's how we build nonprofit boards that I've sat on. It's, but they have to be part of the process to devise this or design this new vision. And when I say I have an open door policy, I mean that. It's truly an open door policy where any employee can feel safe to walk into the mayor's office and share a concern or what they believe could be done better. And I will listen. And I think that all helps. When people feel like they're part of the team, they will perform. And that is going to be one of the more challenging tasks. I understand that. But I love challenges. And I think that once that it's going to take some time, but I think when the employees see that, wow, it is different now, they're going to want to come back to work. You can ask any of our staff members at Office of County Services, and we have over 30 employees, of my leadership style, and they will tell you my focus is on them. My focus is on making sure that they have the tools and the resources they need to succeed and creating an environment that they want to come to work. We don't have an absenteeism problem at Council Services. Absolutely not. And I'm not taking all the credit. We got an awesome county clerk in Jade Tanigawa. And she has some strict rules that need to be followed, but everybody gets treated the same. And that works. We got awesome morale. So yes, Cindy, you are correct. And we talked about the Office of Professional Accountability, which is an office that I will create right in the mayor's office, and that will take all phone calls, all phone calls. So if you got an issue regarding the debris on the beach, or you got an issue about a parking problem at Kapahi Park, you're going to call one phone number, and we are not going to say that is not our job, that's the state's job. No, we're going to take that call, we're going to log that call, we're going to track that call, and we're going to route it to where it needs to go and provide you with an update of what's going on. And the mayor will be able to see a report every couple of weeks that says what is still outstanding, why, how come we have not been able to resolve this issue, and if the mayor's got to get involved, then he will. Simple. Be accountable. Be accountable to the people. Be accountable to your employees. Be accountable to this, our mission. Things are going to work. It's not going to happen overnight, but things are going to change. And I just hope that message we can get across this beautiful island before election. What about moving the Kapau Art Walk to the park across Bank of Hawaii, which is safer than people just walking across? Yeah, something to think about. Again, I'm not really involved with that Kapau, although I know it's very successful. But I agree, it's very dangerous. That is a community-driven project. That's not a county project. But I love that idea. It would make sense, actually. So we will definitely pass that on. Vaughn Farinas Ramos, aloha Mel, greetings from the 9th Island on vacation again. Oh my God, I want your job. Okay, traffic going northbound is moving. Thank you, Tammy Q. Traffic going northbound is moving, which means they have opened one lane of traffic. That is a good sign. Jay says, when you become mayor, are you going to keep this live talk active? I think it'll be something good as far as communication with the community. It'll work hand in hand with your dedicated call line. Yeah, Jay, this is not going to end, I can tell you. I enjoy doing this, believe it or not. I love doing this. I love playing with this system. When I get my moderator, it'll be much better. But yeah, for now, it's like scrolling and my eyes going off the screen is because I'm looking at the comments. Yes, sir. I will keep this open. I think one of the advantages of having that one-on-one open discussion is a lot of people may not be willing to go to a council meeting and testify. Some people may not feel comfortable talking to anyone. So whether they put a comment in a block or not, they are getting informed about what is going on. I know Derek does the daily report or whatever, and it's recorded. That's good too. I think that is critical, but I think a live format like this where I can get immediate response, because listen, and to be honest, man, I want to know, and trust me, I have a lot of critiques. Even after this live right now, people from my team and some others will call me and tell me, hey Mel, you said this, maybe that's not totally accurate, or whatever the case may be. I want to make sure I am accurate, and the information I'm giving you is what's coming out of my head. It's not scripted. I don't have a book here. I don't have a notebook. So yeah, I may say something that might be inaccurate, so I get corrected, and this will give an opportunity for me to correct anything, or and I just love being with people. If we could all be in a room right now live, I'd prefer that, but that's just not possible. So to me, this is the next best thing. And by the way, I have my coffee. By the way, Jay Murata, they run Suds Car Wash. And I got to say this because, we got to support local businesses, guys. From your food to your coffee, we got to support local businesses. And Jay and his partners run the Suds Car Washes, which I am a huge fan of and a customer of. And, someone is going to build another car wash right in the lot adjacent to them. I just want to say, I don't know what they're going to build. I don't know how they're going to run it. I don't know what they're going to charge. But you know what? Please support local whenever you can. Jay and his team have been a part of this community forever. They contribute to our community in ways most people don't even know because they don't publicize it, but I see it. I love Jay and his family. I love Jay and his partners. I love what they do. And please, 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 when you get an opportunity to support local, please do. We got to keep our local businesses going. When these guys from the mainland come in and they build something to directly compete with a local business, that is not pono. That is not pono. And I know that, yeah, that's one of the things my advisor is going to tell me, you should have not said that. But I'm just being honest with you guys. That is not pono. When you come in and do something like that, knowing that you're going to impact that, all that employees, that local employees that are working for Jay, and he treats his guys extremely well. I don't know if you've been to Suds. Those guys happy to be there. Talk about morale. But yeah, so please, please, please. Sorry, I'm going through. Yeah, okay. So Suds Car Wash, check it out. Noah says, I left the county after 5 years because of leadership. Hard to want to go above and beyond when you're constantly being told to stop because your seniors are telling you. Tried to switch departments multiple times. Yeah, Noah, I tell you, man, I, it's hard. I don't like talking about myself because it's just not like that. But trust me when I tell you, my care and concern for employees is number one. Okay. And if you're putting out and you're doing your job, then we are not going to have an issue. Yeah, I heard this by many. Yes, a lot of people are not happy, and that is, again, when you talk about what is the top 3 things I'm going to do in the first 100 days, that is one that goes without saying. I mean, we got to improve the morale. We gotta improve the conditions, and we gotta be fair and consistent, and we gotta follow the collective bargaining agreement. And we can. We can. In fact, if you follow the collective bargaining agreement, it makes it very simple. When you start to try to wiggle around things that you can and cannot do, that's when you run into issues. And people accuse me, say, "Mel, you're a horrible politician. You're too black and white." Well, yes, because if it's written in a book, that's what we got to do. If you're not happy with it, then we change it. If we don't like a law, we change the law. But you don't bend the rules. Don't bend the law, because that's when people get in trouble, and that's when morale goes down the toilet. Philip says, what can be done about the homeless problem, mostly due to drug use, living on the side of the roads in plain sight, and building makeshift homes, and not to mention making a big mess. I think homelessness is one of my on my priorities as well, and I think we got to create safe zones. We got to create opportunities or sites where these people can go. A lot of people don't want that, but then what? I people say, oh no, we can't have that. That's going to attract more homeless. Okay, then what? We just keep kicking them out of one place so they can go to the next? Really? The hard truth is we got to provide services for these people. Now, the ones that are addicted to drugs or suffering from mental health issues, we got to get them the help they need. We just had this discussion the other day, how you get all these guys going to run for governor and lieutenant governor, all the state legislature, and what are they doing to improve the services for mental health and drug addiction in the state? Everybody talks about it. Everybody talks about it. We have a drug treatment center for adolescents up in Kaua. Right now, operating, the YMCA of Honolulu is up there doing outpatient and intensive outpatient. Residential treatment dormitory is empty because what? No funding. Not a penny from the state, not a penny from the county. And yet we talk about this problem where we need to get these guys the help and services they need. And the governor needs to take the lead. I mean, we have a Senate president and a Speaker of the House and the legislature right now. And we should be focusing at the state level on mental health and drug treatment services. But as far as what the county can do is to create these safe zones and get them in. And yeah, they can live in tents. I was in the military. I deployed to South Korea, 20-degree weather, lived in tents with heaters. I was comfortable. But I was dry and I was warm and I was safe. And that's what these people need. They need to be assured that they're going to be safe, they're going to be warm, and they're going to be dry. And that the services can come to them. You see, my eyes get angry because I just went into this last week. When someone called me about a person that was in need. And I called the state. They didn't even answer the doggone phone. I couldn't even get someone to answer the phone. So the anger is real. The frustration is real. But again, the voice of the mayor is much louder than that of the council chair. And I can assure you that I'll be at the governor's office if I have to be every week, pounding his desk, whoever the governor may be, or the lieutenant governor. By the way, big announcement tomorrow from our mayor. Speculation is he's going to announce his candidacy for lieutenant governor. So maybe it's his desk I'm punching on. I don't know. The bottom line is we cannot just sit back and ignore it and think that it is going to go away. It's going to get worse. So Philip, I share your pain. As far as the county, we got to set up safe zones. And the ones that need help, we need to get them the help. And yeah. These big issues, dump, housing, roads, isn't brain surgery. It's been around thousands of years. It's the red tape. Yes, Ed. It's the lack of foresight from the prior administrations. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. When's my next fundraiser? Mel Lasadas. Oh, I like that. I like that. Vaughn, we cannot have fundraisers while the legislature is open. So we cannot. We had one scheduled for April. And darn. I found out Councilmember Fern Holland came up and said, Chair, is it true that we cannot hold fundraisers during the legislative session? I said, that's not true. That's only for the state. She said, no, I was told that they changed the rule. And they did. So now we cannot have fundraisers. Anybody that's elected in elected office cannot have fundraisers during the legislature session. So we're looking at late May, and that information will be forthcoming. I don't know if it'll be Mel Lasada's, but we probably will have a Mel Lasada table. I like that. I like that. Alfred Keaka Hiona Madaris. Big brother L. Aloha, my man. You the man, bro. You the man. Big L. Yes, yes. Speaking of coffee, is there any update? There is. The only update is that they are negotiating. They are moving. They did not get kicked out on that March deadline. So, and I have been in communication with both sides, trying to be a mediator. But at least we got them to continue the discussion. So I am cautiously optimistic. Cautiously optimistic. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate everyone's business and support. Thank you, Mel. Of course, brother Jay Suds, and he's not sponsoring this either, guys. He is not sponsoring this. So I'm just saying the whole idea of trying to boot local businesses out, not good with me. Not good. Okay, boat lines are open. Tammy Q, our road reporter. Yeah, I feel like Kong Radio right now. I feel like Kong Radio. All right. Spot on, Mel, on the homeless problem. Samuel, you know what? It's common sense. It's like some people tell me, I was at a meet and greet in Kalaheo last week, and I'm not going to mention names, but a new candidate for county council came up and said, wow, you're a wealth of information. And I'm like, I've been doing this for a long time. 18 years just on the council, but I've been with this community and working in this community since all my whole adult life. So it's just what we do. And, I kind of know what it's done. The bigger problem is lack of services due to funding. Yes, Sharon, and that is why I say, tables got to be pounded. Desks got to be pounded. People got to be called to the table. People got to be called, the whole wastewater issue on Kauai. There would have been no movement if I didn't bring it to the agenda last year. When I brought wastewater on and said, what are you guys doing? How come we're not making progress? All of a sudden it became a priority. And if that's what we got to do, if as the mayor, I got to call out the governor. If it's not the mayor, I got to call out certain people that should be doing something, I will. And that's not a threat. We all got to work together on this. We all got to work together. And if it is, and the homeless issue is a nationwide problem. So where's our congressional people? Where's all these monies that are going crazy places where we should be taking? How can we not have services for a kupuna who is suffering from mental illness or in some cases even drug addiction? But you can call a number and get assistance for an injured animal. How can that be even happening in our country. That is the frustration. That is the frustration. What about small houses on CPR land? Well, right now you can build up to a 800 square foot unit, up to an 800 square foot additional dwelling unit on a CPR lot or ag CPR lot. You know, I don't have a problem with the tiny homes. If you're talking about for the homeless people, I fully support it. That when we talk about safe zones, there are many models that we can copy. I have no problem copying successful programs around the country. I don't. But it has to be workable here in Hawaii. A lot of people think they go online, they find these projects, they find these programs, yay, 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 and our county's guilty too. And then they bring it here and all realize that doesn't work for Hawaii. So yeah, it has to be obviously conducive to our living style here. But for the homeless, safe zones, absolutely. Small homes would work. Shared restrooms, shared showers. You know, I think communal living for the homeless is not. I definitely support that. Definitely can support that. I always say the people get what they vote for. We need a new vision for Hawaii, and it starts with the governor's office. Wow. Philip says, I am so right. Thank you, Philip. Donna says, you need to get the county to answer the phones and not get recordings. Leave a message and they will call you back whenever. Donna, my pet peeve. My pet peeve. We have a rule at the council services office that no phone will be unanswered. And okay, the wife is here. Yeah, I know. My wife just came in to tell me that the road's open. But our road reporter told us first. Donna, awesome. Okay, Donna, that is definitely, and again, I have experienced that firsthand and shared my concerns. Again, I'm very limited what I can do as a council chair, but as a mayor, different story. So yeah, I know that, you know, people are saying, oh my God, he's a hammer. I'm not a hammer. I mean, we are here to serve the public. God, we are running out of time. My daughter is hi, Papi Meal. That's my grandson. That's what he calls me, Papa Meal. I love you guys. Hopefully, if you become mayor, the council gets a louder voice after all these years. Oh, gosh, I hope so. Okay, Jimmy Trujillo. Oh, what a compliment. Great show. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Roads are open. Sorry, I just stepped away. Yes, the roads are open. I'm going to get through all this real quick. Aloha, Joanne. Mel Asadas for the win. Love it. Thank you, Mel. A top-down independent audit is necessary as we navigate our future. Shailene Arnalis, I am a very strong advocate for audits, and you read my mind. Good morning, Kalani Kapuniai. Awesome. All right, guys. I don't like keep you guys. I told you guys 7 to 8. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to have one more sip of my coffee. I'll tell you one more time, guys. Check out melformayor.org. Road sign, yard signs, banners. You can donate here as well if you want to make a small donation. And we accept small donations because we need to get the word out. We are looking for people to host coffee hours or meet and greets. That you invite the people, we bring the food and the beverages, non-alcoholic, and we just talk story. And that is what's going to win this election. If I can get in front of people and they can hear my heart and hear my passion and understand that I've been doing this a very long time, I will make a difference. I will tell you that. I can commit to that. And it's going to take a lot of work. And it's going to take a lot of involvement with the community, which obviously with this podcast, that's what I love to do. And that's not going to end. So anyway, guys, appreciate y'all. Take care, stay safe, stay dry. Drive carefully, folks. We already had a bad accident. Prayers to the families who was involved. And for the rest of you, I'm losing my mind here. Next week, Monday, 7 a.m. Bring your coffee. We'll chat. Aloha.